Hello, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angels. This is the weekly angel card reading for February the 20th through to the 24th, 2017. So if you've never seen this before, what I'm doing here is just tuning into the angels and finding out what messages we need to hear for each day, what can really help us to address the things we need to address that may be holding us back in life, or jump over the challenges that are kind of holding us back, and in general just make better choices so that we can be our best selves. So they're not predictions of what's going to happen, they're more like things for you to be thinking about, and sometimes they don't resonate with you straight away, but later on they might do, or you might encounter someone who for which the messages are relevant. So if the message isn't really sitting well with you straight away, don't disregard it completely. If nothing else, what you can take from these messages is just the beautiful reassurance that you're not alone and that the angels are here to help. It's very comforting, I think, so, and that's why working with angel cards appealed to me straight from the outset. So I'm going to shuffle now for Monday, the 20th of February, and see what comes up. Okay. Emotional healing. Whew, this is a heavy one. Well, it could be, depending on where you're at. It's about the hurt that we're holding on to, our emotional baggage, I guess you could say. But there's a good message here. It's telling us that it's safe for us to let go of that. Now, I know that's not something that happens just as easily as looking at, oh, I feel better now, or the pain of my divorce and my grief is gone now. Of course, it's not. But it's letting you know that it's safe for you to do that. Sometimes we hold on to things because it's familiar, I guess. And because also I think sometimes we feel like we're honoring that experience by, because it was so painful, we honor it by holding it close to us. We guard it. We don't want it to be judged by other people. We don't want to let it go because then it will be like it never happened, but actually it was hugely significant. What this card says is you actually don't need this. It is weighing you down and it's holding you back. And so it's time. It's time for you to let it go. So whatever you need to do that, perhaps it's doing some forgiveness work. And I always talk about this when I'm doing personal readings because it comes up all the time. Forgiveness is one of those lessons that we all need to learn again and again and again. And if you've read A Course in Miracles, one of the really foundation New Age metaphysical texts, that's one of the things that comes through in there. I haven't read it, to be honest, but I do know that forgiveness is something that really underpins it. So I also recommend writing a letter to the person, pouring out your heart, because often when we're holding on to pain or resentment, it's because we didn't feel like we were heard by that person. They didn't understand us or how it felt for us. But if you can write it down, you're really getting that out and expressing it. And then at the end, you can burn it if it's safe for you to do so. The kitchen sink might be an option there, but I don't want to recommend you to do that in case it's not safe. So if there are any concerns there, you could always tear it up. But make sure when you do so, however you're extinguishing it, that you say to the universe, I'm letting this go now. Because the universe responds to symbols and really powerful action steps like that. So if it's not about forgiveness, and sorry, just to go back to that forgiveness thing, sometimes forgiveness is multi-layered because the hurt might be really deep. So you might need to do that again in a month's time or later on down the track, because sometimes we clear something away and then we find, like an onion, there's another layer of something there. And that the anger we held, because anger is always a secondary emotion, it covers things up. So when we can disperse that, then we get to the essence of where the pain is, the betrayal, whatever it is. So perhaps it's some energy healing work you need to have. Reiki, I'm a Reiki practitioner, I'm a big fan of it. That can certainly help, but it's quite lightweight, so sometimes it's deeper chakra clearing might be necessary there. Whatever it is you need to do, start doing it and just know that it's safe for you to do that. Because when we're holding on to things, we've put up barriers around our heart, and the heart doesn't like barriers. They hold it so covered that it can't do the work it needs to do, which is to open up into love. And sometimes we fear opening up fully to love because we have been hurt and we don't want it to happen again. But you don't. I read this great quote. Oh, here I go again. Gosh, whenever I quote something, I get it wrong. I've got a great book where I write these things down. It's not to hand at the moment. You don't protect your heart by pretending you don't have one. So, I mean, that kind of says it all. When we hold ourselves back and try to protect ourselves, we don't actually serve what our heart really desires, which is to be loved, and we're not going to be happy as long as we're living like that in that kind of guarded state. I know I lived like that for more than a decade actually. So we need to know that it's safe for us to love, and that doesn't mean, I mean, it means we could potentially be hurt again, but it doesn't mean that we're going to trust every single person we meet, because our intuition, we still get our intuition, which will tell us who are the people to trust and who are not. So it doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to fall down a hole again. It just means that we're open, and we're open to love, but we're still trusting of when it's safe for us to place our trust in certain people. So I probably talked about that one long enough now. Let's move on to Tuesday, 21st. What cards jumped out already? A star. It's about reaching for the stars with your dreams. Now, sometimes with our dreams, we try to put limits on them, like I'm only going to earn this much money, or I'm only going to do this much. Money's not a very good example, of course, because money's an energy, it flows. It's not like a set destination. But sometimes we put limits on them, like, oh, I'll try and get this job, but I'll just go for a lower level, and that might be okay. But don't see, if you are putting limits on your dreams, don't see that as a final destination. Be very clear about that final point that you want to reach, the big stuff, whatever it is, the stuff that might be on your vision board, or the stuff that you have really set your heart on. Make sure that's still in your mind as well. So if you haven't got, sometimes people will say things like, I don't really know what I want, or I don't really have any dreams, there's nothing I'm really working towards, and that can be quite difficult. And what you need to do, if that's you, is remember the fact that humans are not here to stagnate, we're here to grow. So if you're just kind of going through the motions, that might be fine in the short term, but long term that's not going to make you happy, because our souls desire to grow and to learn, and they won't do that if you are living a very small life where you don't try to reach for things. So really think about what you want, and it'll be often meditation. It can be a good precursor to this. Because when you still your brain, that's when you can kind of hear your intuition more clearly, and that's when we're giving you cues about what it is you want, what your heart desires. It's easier to hear that then. It might be walking among nature. That's often a really calming space to hear what your intuition is kind of prompting you to do. They're also highlighting the word compromise here, which I doubt you can see, but make sure that you're not adjusting your dreams to suit what other people might want, or what you think other people might approve of. You don't need the approval of anyone. So let's look at Wednesday now, 22nd. Oh, Green Tower. Do you know, I don't think this card has ever come up before. I've never seen it in a reading before. I'm not overly familiar with it, but that's okay. I'm still getting, a strong energetic pull from it. And it's delegating. Now, anybody who's worked in a corporate environment knows all about delegating. It's what you're encouraged to do, and sometimes we resist the urge to delegate because we want to be the hero. We want to be the one who's so independent and doesn't need anyone else. But there are no medals handed out for doing everything yourself. So don't try not to be a hero. Or a martyr as well. Sometimes people just love to complain about how busy they are, which is a real trap. Try not to fall into that, because no one wants to hear that. As if there was some sort of bravery award for being the most busy and suffering the most because no one's helping you. If no one's helping you, that's either your fault for not asking for help, or your fault for not accepting it, because you won't let anyone help you. And you don't do yourself any favours with that, because we are here to help each other. That's a fundamental responsibility of human beings. So sometimes that can be a block with the receiving love, because I've talked about this before, but love, you need to give it and receive it. It needs to be in flow. So it's also about asking the angels for help. Okay, don't feel like you need to suffer on your own. Ask for help. And also I've talked a bit about work, but this can be about home stuff as well, and about the burdens or the things that we're carrying in terms of our emotions. Ask people for help. Talk to other people. Don't suffer in silence. You need to be expressing yourself into moving through your pain, and you don't really do that well on your own. So it's about support, looking for support, giving it, but also accepting it. So um, when you allow people to help you, you actually are serving your life purpose very well, because you're allowing them to help you, and that's part of their gift as well. And also because the angels in the universe works through other people, and that's why sometimes the right person with the right skills and the right expertise will fall into your life at the right place, just the right moment, and that's because they are sent by the universe. And sometimes we're sent by the universe as well, and it's important to answer that call where appropriate. So without being a doormat, you know, probably talked about this before, but sometimes people will say, oh, I'm too nice, I'm too kind, I'm too sensitive. For the record, you can't be too nice, you cannot be too kind. If you're saying that because you feel that you've been taken advantage of, that's actually your fault. It's not because you're too nice. It's because you have failed to listen to your intuition when your intuition was telling you, stop giving too much to this person because they are not giving it back, and because you're actually not helping them. It's a lack of boundaries, and boundaries, we had that card on Friday. Boundaries come up all the time for a lot of people, particularly for women, because we have been overtly or covertly conditioned socially to believe that our job is to give everything up for other people. It's that whole thing of setting yourself on fire to keep other people warm, and actually that's not. When you start learning about spirituality, you realise that's actually not the case. It's not what you're here to do. Now, that doesn't mean you've got to be a selfish person and only serve yourself. It means that you help people from a place of self-love, where you understand when you're enabling someone's behaviour and not actually helping them at all, and when you are actually giving them something that they're going to use, and which is going to benefit them and benefit you also, because it is helping you to serve. So if you think that you're too nice and you're getting taken advantage of, the fault there is not the people, it's you, because you need to set some boundaries around how you. It's not that you've given too much or you've been too kind. It's because you've failed to listen to your heart and to understand, is this appropriate? Is this right? Is this what I need to do? And that's a life lesson for you. So for some people, they have a real problem with that. It's not something I struggle with, to be honest. I've got really good boundaries. But, you know, assertiveness, people feel that being assertive, standing up for themselves, they feel like they're being unkind to other people. You're actually not. If you're aggressive about it, absolutely. But you can be assertive without being aggressive. And it's such a problem for so many people who go into this sort of work, that Doreen Virtue, is the founder of Angel Communication, unofficially, has written a book called Assertiveness for Earth Angels. So if that's your problem, if you struggle with boundaries, if you struggle if you let yourself be taken advantage of, I'd recommend you read that book, Assertiveness for Earth Angels, so that you can understand that it's not unkind to set boundaries, that there is no such thing as being too kind, but there is certainly such a thing as giving too much when it's not appropriate for you to do so, when you're actually not serving. You're failing to listen to your intuition and failing to do what's needed in that situation. Now, Archangel Michael's come through for Thursday, the 23rd. He represents security, protection, safety, courage and strength. So all those good things. I talk to him every single day. Every single day I ask him for something. And that's totally fine. He's there to serve all of us. You're not being unfair by putting extra pressure on him. You're not. You can't ask too much of the angels. Although, technically speaking, you can ask too much if you're not doing enough to help yourself. But in this case, I ask Archangel Michael for protection, and I ask him for courage and confidence. So, and that's what he's there for. So please remember to do that. He's come through because some of you really need that right now. If you feel unsafe, ask Archangel Michael to put a protective shield around you every morning. If you are scared at the moment, ask him for strength. If you have a big challenge today, say job interview, or I don't know, perhaps an interview at your kid's school, ask him for confidence. He will not let you down. Now Friday, 24th, I was looking at the wrong date, I was going to say 17th, but it's the 24th. So February, so let's see what's going to come through. We've had some big messages already, haven't we? Particularly that one about emotional healing, which is what we're all here to do. We're all here to heal. So here we go. Friday. This is the Archangel Michael card deck as well, so it's nice that that follows on from a card that, from a general deck. This is the Angel Therapy Oracle cards deck. He's come through here, so he's obviously, his presence is very strong. And before I started this reading, when I was tuning into what cards I needed, this is the order they told me. So that's very deliberate that he comes through early and then stays with us. And he's got a big message here. It's time to leave this unhealthy situation. Now, right now we're in eclipse season. We've had a lunar eclipse on the 10th or 11th of February, depending on where you live in the world. Here in Australia, it was the 11th. And then we're going into another one in the same month, and that is the 26th of February in the US, the 27th here in Australia and New Zealand. So eclipses, what they do is they reveal things that have been hidden. So things that we've been deluding ourselves on, which we all do, where we've been in denial, the things that we have failed to recognize. And it might be that your relationship is no longer healthy and you've been in denial about that because you don't want to leave, because you are scared of the next step. That's totally normal. However, it's time for you to leave, and you already know that, and this will be resonating with you because you do already know that. Now, it might not be big things. It might not be your job that you need to leave. It might be something smaller. So a couple of days ago, someone commented on the Instagram about losing their job, but instead of feeling sorry for herself, she was very empowered about it and said, I wasn't happy there, so I think this is the universe taking care of this situation. And so that was quite mature. She'd recognised it was an unhealthy situation, and that the next step is going to be good, because the universe will often clear away things that aren't working. It never takes something away from us unless it's going to give us something better. And sometimes that something better is nothing, because they're creating, the angels, the universe is creating space for us to do the self-reflection we need to do, the growth we need to do, so that we can move forward. So it might not be something dramatic like your job or your relationship or your house. Perhaps your landlord's going to sell your house or something like that. And it might not be necessarily that it is unhealthy. That's quite a loaded word, isn't it? It might be just that it's not working for you anymore. Maybe there's not something wrong with it. Maybe it's just there's something better ahead that you're being prepared for. So it could be something small, like it could be that you've been eating a particular food that's not working out for you now. It could be that you're getting allergies or something to it. It could be that an association, a friendship you've got is unhealthy and you need to move on from that. Whatever it is, trust it. It's time to leave. You'll know in your heart of hearts what that means, and the eclipse is going to make it very obvious. So if you're still going to continue to delude yourself, that's not going to go so well. So that eclipse is Sunday or Monday, and it's in Pisces, and Pisces is the sign that's all about things that are hidden. It's about the depth. If you know a Pisces, you'll know all about it. They have got layers and layers and layers. All water signs do, but particularly Pisces, and they often have things going on a lot of things going on under the surface. So you're not going to be able to continue in denial about that for too much longer. You might be able to continue to refuse to change. That's your choice. This is all about choices. You don't have to do anything, but you're not going to be able to pretend anymore. You will be forced to face up to this that you need to deal with. It could be just a pattern of living that you're in that's no longer healthy for you. I don't know. I'm not going to judge you, but it might be something that you're maybe it is holding on to an ex. Maybe it is holding on to a story about yourself that I'm so disadvantaged because this happened to me, and maybe it's time to leave that kind of thinking and that sort of mindset behind. It's up to you. Whatever you do, it's all up to you. We've all got choices. But of course, I've learned the hard way that if we don't listen to these messages, we don't grow. And if we don't grow, we don't learn to be happy and to be satisfied. So some big themes about letting things go. That would be probably the overriding theme, I would say. We've got a great message about reaching for the stars as well. Support, letting people help you. Beautiful Archangel Michael energy coming through here about strength and about courage. And so the fact that this message about leaving things behind is in the Archangel Michael deck is very deliberate, because it's shrouded, not shrouded, but immersed in that safety kind of energy. So we're saying it's safe. It's safe for you to leave. It's safe for you to let go. It's safe. So please, I know it's unfamiliar, and I know that the unfamiliar can be scary, but please know that this has come through because it is right for you, so trust in that. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it does mean it is right. So keep going, keep showing up, keep committing to trusting the universe and going through what you need to go through here, and know that Archangel Michael is here to call on for support and protection um, and comfort as well. Always talk to your angels. They can't help you unless you ask them for help. That's it for the week. I'll put these on my Instagram at @OneGroundedAngel and on my Facebook page. If you want to contact me for a personal reading, you can do that through my website www.onegroundedangel.com. One as an OBNE, not the number one. And you can also contact me if you have any feedback or questions there as well. Thank you so much for your love and support. I'm sending it all back to you, and I hope you have a terrific week. Now remember, as I said, it is lunar eclipse season. Two eclipses so close together that can be challenging because they do intensify what's happening with the moon. So it is very powerful, and some of you will be feeling all the feels. So try and be patient with yourself and give yourself some compassion as you go through that. And try and give others some compassion as well, and understand that perhaps they're suffering as well. So, you know, everybody's suffering things that we can't see, so try and extend some compassion there. Have a terrific week, and I'll read for you again next week. Take care.